Air density. Air density is the weight of a certain volume of air reflecting moisture content, air temperature, and barometric pressure. Air density consists of water vapor, air temperature, and barometric pressure. Water vapor, also known as moisture content, has little effect on ballistics and is not included in the fire control system's ballistic solution. The atmosphere is made up mostly of nitrogen and oxygen molecules. These molecules are always colliding with themselves and all of their surroundings. In a free atmosphere, when the air is heated, these molecules travel faster and push the surrounding air out of the way, resulting in a less dense atmosphere. When the air is cooled, it has the opposite effect, resulting in a denser atmosphere. Pressure has the opposite effect of air temperature. Increasing pressure increases the density. Decreasing pressure decreases the density. Altitude and high or low weather systems change the barometric pressure. Altitude has a greater effect on pressure than weather systems. Barometric pressure is greater at sea level with the air being denser. The pressure at sea level is 29.92 inches of mercury. Barometric pressure at higher altitudes such as mountains is less with the air being less dense. The pressure at 6,000 feet is 23.92 inches of mercury. A 100-meter increase in elevation results in a 0.30 decrease in pressure. Pilots use a corrected barometric pressure to sea level to set their altimeter for landing. The Fire Control System, or FCS, uses manual inputs for both air temperature and barometric pressure to compensate for air density. Both are calculated and applied to the FCS separately. Either one will affect the other in relation to the intended strike of the round. Air density is lowest at higher elevations on a hot day with a higher temperature and lower barometric pressure. Air density is higher at lower elevations on a cooler day with a lower temperature and higher barometric pressure. Placing incorrect air temperature data into the computer may result in a missed target. A crew member inputs 90 degrees into the computer when it is actually 75 degrees outside. The computer thinks that the air density is lower, so it applies a lower amount of super elevation to the gun. But when the projectile leaves the gun tube and encounters the 75-degree atmosphere with a higher air density, the strike point will be lower than calculated. Placing incorrect barometric pressure data into the computer may also result in a missed target. A crew member inputs 20 inches of mercury into the computer when it is actually 29.92 outside. The computer thinks that the air density is lower, so it calculates less super elevation to the gun. But when the projectile leaves the gun tube and encounters the 29.92 inches of mercury atmosphere with a higher air density, the strike point will again be lower than calculated. Air density corrections are entered into the GPS ballistic computer manually. Actual barometric pressure and air temperature figures are entered in order for the computer to make the necessary corrections. There is no correction for water vapor. The gas sight has no inputs for air density correction since it is not connected to the computer.